Hi, this is Jason Fielder with the Daily Forex Report for August 21st. We're going to take a look at the US Japanese yen pair first. We have a range that could be between 110.15 on the high side and on the lower side 107.85. I'm looking for some resistance to come into this market a little bit lower at 109.25. That's around this area. And I'm looking for support to come into the market at around the 108 area. This particular pair closed down today. It's moving sideways for the most part, and the bias though has switched to the downside. Now if you recall, we were waiting on a quick little trade. We got in a little bit lower than this line, a few pips below that line, and we were looking for this next area of support, that the previous support, and basically there's 25 pips in there, and today we were rewarded for waiting, and it went through that. Now, one of my favorite setups is to have a fairly strong down day with an up inside day, or vice versa, and then look for whatever this first one is, whatever the first down day is. If it's down, then look for the move to continue after it pulls back for an inside day. And if it's an up bar, as this is, then look for a pullback and then a breakout to the upside, going higher. Anyway, we were definitely rewarded for this pattern. Taking a look at it, sell on the low there, or a little bit below the low, and then look for areas of previous support to exit. Here we only took 25 pips, but the next area of possible support, you have maybe some here, and then it pretty much opens up all the way down. So if you caught some of that move, it was a pretty quick and good one. Now looking at the Euro USD pair, this pair moved higher today, moved into previous resistance. I'm looking for this pair to move between 149.36 on the high side, and on the low side 146.91. As far as support and resistance goes, looking for resistance to come in a little bit higher at 149.50, and support at 147.44, a little bit higher at about this point. Now this pair did close up for the day. It's moving sideways, and the bias is definitely sideways at this point. Now over at the pound, taking a look at the pound, this pair also moved higher today. I'm looking for this next session to be between 188.24 and on the lower side 185.58. As far as resistance goes, looking for some resistance pretty much at the same level, right in this area. And for support, look for support to come in at 1.8620. Now this pair did close up moving sideways. The bias is sideways as well. This pair broke down through previous support today. It is moving sideways. The bias is sideways. I'm looking for this next session to be between 110.34 and 108.12. And I'm looking for some resistance, if it pushes higher, to come into the market at 1.1, and then looking for some support to come in the market at a little bit lower than this at 1.0800. Now looking at news announcements, the pound had their retail sales released, and it was up month to month and year to date, and that's probably why we saw a little bit of strength in the pound today against the US dollar. The Canadian CPI also came in today, was released. It hit its estimates, and there's no real big surprise there. Looking forward till tomorrow at 4 a.m., the Eurozone has their current accounts being released. That sometimes moves the markets, typically not though. But if you're there at your computer, definitely something to take note of the time. And the pound has their gross domestic product for the second quarter being released at 4:30 a.m. The consensus is that the GDP is down, but only by 0.1% year to date. So the GDP can be kind of a sleeper as far as the news is concerned. It's kind of about 6 on the list, I would say, as far as moving a currency. So if you're if the news comes out and it's not what the consensus should be, then at that point definitely look for a large move, at least in the short term. Now, there was one thing I wanted to cover real quick for this particular trade that I'm looking at. This next the next trade I'm looking at, we have a pullback down here. We have some support all along this area. But what's interesting is we have this low here, and if you draw a trend line there, you place another one here. This is a pretty large move during that day. Now we have basically what I like to call a window of opportunity here, and I don't know if it'll hit tomorrow. Most likely not. We're several pips away from it, a good 100 plus pips away from this line. But watch it over the next week or two. If we do happen to break this line, it should move fairly quick through this point, and it's roughly 100 pips, 104 pips, somewhere in there between these two. And if we look at what happened last time, it did that. We can see on this chart it did move straight through. Now let's back out and see, well, what else has happened during that time, if anything. Well, if you look back in time, here again we had a pretty strong move, and it was pretty quick. So during that day, so we had a quick day here, and we had a quick market move through here. So it makes sense that we should see that again. That's just something I'm definitely keeping an eye on over the next day or two. So for those of you that haven't registered for our webinar tonight, you can definitely do that. Just take a look at the link back on the email that's sent out. It's on how to turn your losing trades into winning trades, and we're holding that at 8 p.m. 9 Eastern. So until next time, this is Jason Fielder. Good trading.